Hello everybody, welcome to Chapter 2. This first section we're going to start off with is Chapter 2.1, which is proportions. Some vocabulary that you need to know is right here. We've got three different things. I believe once we start talking about proportions, you'll know what you'll have seen what's going on before, so it shouldn't be too terribly new. So we'll just get rolling right away. I've got three different examples that we're going to go over. Okay, so this first example here, we've got x divided by 12 is equal to 132 divided by 176. Okay, so this is a proportion. These are two ratios. X over 12 is a ratio. 132 over 176 is a ratio. The equal signs means that they're equal to one another. Okay, so we have x over 12, and that's equal to 132 over 176. Now, when we talk about proportions and we have this equal sign, the easiest thing that we can do is the idea of cross multiplication. So we're going to take 176 times x and 12 times 132. Okay, and I believe every single one of us has seen that. Okay, so I'm not going to go over that. All right, we've done that before. What we're going to talk about is something that's going to help us down in the long run, and it's going to be the idea of undoing division. All right, so we're going to do the same steps that we would do if we did a cross multiplication. We're just going to do it, and it's going to look a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is, we know that x divided by 12, that's division right here. I want this x by itself, so I'm going to take my problem and I'm going to multiply it by 12 on each side. When I multiply by 12 on each side, this 12 and this 12 go away. We end up with just x. And then on this side we've got 132 divided by 176, and that's times by 12. Okay, so what happens is when we times this by 12, the 12 only goes to the 132. So essentially we've got 132 times 12 divided by 176. Okay, so because this 12 acts as if it's 12 over 1, and so when we multiply by fractions, we multiply top times top, bottom times bottom. And when we simplify this, okay, so we type in our calculator 132 times 12 and then divide that by 176, we get an answer of 9. Okay, so our final answer is 9. So if we put 9 into this, we'd have 9 over 12 is equal to 132 over 176. If we put both of them into decimals, we'd get the same answer. Okay, so you can do cross multiplication. I'm okay with that. Take x times this times that. You'd end up doing the exact same stuff. I'm just doing it a little bit differently. Okay, so now if we look at this second example, we've got 35 divided by x is equal to 135 divided by 28. Now what's different between this one and the first problem is the location of our x. Our x is down on the bottom now, so we can't use division yet. So what we need to do is we need to invert our equation. So that means we're going to an invert, basically means flip. So we have x divided by 35 and 28 divided by 135. So I've flipped both sides. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. When we invert this or flip this, we get the x on top where we want it. That means we also have to flip this. These are the same expressions, it's just they're in different positions. So now we undo division by multiplying by 35 on each side. So we've got x is equal to 28 times 35 divided by 135. And when we type this into our calculator, we get an answer of x is equal to 7.9. 6. So this would be our final answer. And as I said before, we can always do cross multiplication. This times this, that times that. You'll see that we're doing the exact same steps here using this undoing division idea. Okay, and then the last one is a word problem. So we've got 2 out of 3 students will attend the dance. There are 100 students in the freshman class. How many will go? So we've got 2 people are going to go, and there's 3 people total. So what we have here is now we have to create the other proportion. So I'm trying to figure out how many will go up top. So this is the will go, and this is total down here on the bottom. So that's going to help us set this problem up, because in this final sentence we have to set up our second proportion. So we're looking for how many will go, so that means that's where I put my variable. Okay, and we know that there are a total 100, so we have 100 students down here. So now we have a proportion like we had similarly in the past 2 examples. So we've got 2/3 equals x over 100. We're going to multiply each side by 100 to get the x by itself. So we end up with 100 times 2 divided by 3, and that's equal to x, which means we have 200 divided by 3, and that's equal to x. And that gives us an answer of x is equal to 66.66 repeating. Now, is there such a thing as 0.66 of a student? No. So that means our final answer is x is equal to 67 students will go, because we round up. Since there is no such thing as 2/3 of a student, we always round up to the next one, which gives us 67 students. Here is our example problem for proportions. Please make sure that you're getting this copied down into your notes and getting those done for the notebook check. If you have any other questions, make sure you let me know, and have a good day.